trying to pick up a first down. I think Buffalo could do themselves smart by just, you know what, in a situation like that, let's just throw it deep and see what happens.
This time, Denver has the chance to get good field position. Fifth punt for Brian Moorman out of Pittsburgh State. The former Gorilla gets his best kick of the night, 52 yards. Sending Adams back, and he's brought down by Jabari Greer. Nice special teams back-to-back punts for Jabari Greer. 7-0 Buffalo as Plummer and the Broncos come back on the field.
Elway, McCaffrey, touchdown. All day to throw McCaffrey. Four-man rush, Smith, touchdown. Now to the end zone. Sharp, touchdown. John Elway has time, he's going to kill you.
One of the Sunday night memories over the years built by the Denver Bronco, John Elway. Now Jake Plummer settling in those large shoes, throws to his tight end, Jeb Putzier. Caught by Putzier at the 42-yard line, first down. Pick up a 15 for the fourth-year man out of Boise State. First, let's check the flag. Kukar took a hit there.
Holding, 65 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Cooper Carlisle flag there. We show those Sunday night memories and bring up John Elway and Sterling, as you well know, especially Shannon having the opportunity, your brother, to be around him. Just a terrific record, really defined the position in so many ways. The face of this franchise. Since John Elway left the Denver Broncos, they have not won a playoff game.
And at the rate they're going now, Mike, they're not going to get in the playoffs to win a playoff game because they're just straight drop back passing and allowing the Buffalo defense to tee off another sack.
Plummer with very few options and good rush from the Bills. Jeff Posey, the strong side linebacker, comes up with that one.
You hear us talk a lot about identity, and this is not who the Denver Broncos are. Jake Plummer is not a drop-back passer. The Denver Bronco offense is not a drop-back passing offense. The offensive line is not a passing offensive line. So everything that the Denver Broncos are not, they seem to be trying to get done in this football game, which is why they are not having any success offensively.
Second and 20. Ashley Lely can stretch the field, has been quiet tonight. In motion, Plummer throws for Putzier, who eludes Lawyer Malloy, slides on this slick surface at the 45. First down and a gain of 28 yards.
Okay, you can't allow that to happen if you're a defense. I mean, you got them exactly where you want them. You got them one-dimensional. You know they're not going to run the football. And an outstanding throw again by Jake Plummer. Ball was thrown well before Jeb came out of his break. Lawyer Malloy had good position. Jeb had a step. Outstanding delivery of the football. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a first down.
You see how slick some of the spots are on this field. I'll talk about that in a second. That was the first catch by someone other than Rod Smith in the road wide of Denver tonight. Plummer's throw, beautiful hands catch by Smith. That is, you like that, didn't you?
I really did.
Seventh grab of the night. He's at 108 yards. We'll have 2nd and 2 coming up.
I really did, Mike. Settled in the hole. Watch him run his route. Watch him find himself the hole, though. This is what's cute. Look at it. Don't run out of the hole. Make the grab in his hands. Now, that's all I can get. Lay down. Gain of 8. 2nd and 2.
Hey, talk about the field here real quick. It was covered after the game last Sunday against New England here at Orchard Park. Since then, there's been everything. Rain, freezing rain, snow. The tarp somewhat froze to the field. Anderson running for the first down across the 45 and to the 43-yard line. That will be first down number 7 for the Broncos here tonight. So it took them about 30 minutes longer than normal to get the tarp off the field. And as we arrived about 3 hours before kick, they were scraping at this Astro Place surface trying to get the ice off. And the guy said, hey, it's better than last week.
Yes, he did, Mike. And you can see that the Denver Broncos are doing a very good job of keeping their footing as well.
First and 10. Denver trying to mount a touchdown drive. They've been few and far between the last 3 weeks. Complete to the 36-yard line for Smith again. His 8th grab of the first half. There you see, just one touchdown in the last 23 possessions. That was to Kyle Johnson in the third quarter last week of the win over Baltimore. So this goes back to the first half of the Kansas City game. Right. Remember, in the game against the Chiefs, they only had the 2 field goals in the third and fourth quarter. Right.
I mean, it's an offense that's definitely out of character, and throwing the football seems to be something that they are desperately wanting to do.
Now Tatum Bell hits the crease to get to the 28-yard line in the first down. Troy Vincent and Moreeeee, the Pro Bowlers, with the stop at the safety spot as we get to the 2-minute mark in this first half. Anderson, Bell, the backs and company trying to get the Broncos on the board.
And now another great moment on ESPN. The UEFA Champions League final, the top prize of European club football, has produced some of the most memorable games in history. In 2004, an unlikely pair of teams squared off. High-scoring Monaco and the Giant Killers Porto took the pitch for 90 minutes of unforgettable football. And in the end, it was Porto, the pride of Portugal, holding the European Cup high for the world to see. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
Two-minute warning here in Buffalo. Bills defense trying to stop the Broncos, keep them off the scoreboard. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 27. As you see, it has been a heavy night of passing for Denver. Same true for Buffalo. About 2/3 of the plays in this first half have been via the passing game.
I never guessed that with this weather and this field.
See if the Broncos can keep the momentum of this drive against the Bills' pressure. Plummer escapes as he does so well. First down and more for Plummer inside the 10-yard line as he slides and is very slick on this sideline and that warning track around it. It will be 1st and goal after a 17-yard run.
Very nice job. And you know what? We talked about Jake's decision-making. Very decisive here, decides to run. I thought right here he should have gotten down and didn't have to take that unnecessary hit, but very nice decision-making by Jake Plummer. Need to protect the ball a little bit there. You don't know where defenders are, but does a very good job showing speed, gets the ball out of bounds, puts the Broncos in great position to score points.
Of course, that is why he earned that snake nickname at Arizona State. He has an uncanny knack to still hit the button at the right time. Big run easily for Bell into the end zone. Touchdown Denver. A penalty marker is down. This is coming back. I think Moreeeee was held.
Holding 88 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
By tight end Jeb Putzier.
And he doesn't seem to agree with the call.
88 in white, 36 in blue.
Let's check it out and see if Jeb is holding here. He's coming into your picture right there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Mike, come on. Letter of the law, it's holding. But in football terms, Mike, we're playing football. Let that go.
Moreeeee had absolutely no chance to get to Tatum Bell.
No.
Shanahan asking for the play clock to be reset. It is not. Bell becomes a receiver. Deflected in the air and incomplete. Knocked down by the Buffalo defensive front. We'll have 2nd and goal with 1:44 to go. I'm in Tim Anderson again. Either Anderson or Schobel over there. Anderson got his hands on one same portion of the field in the first quarter.
Timmy's had a very nice ball game. Doing a great job getting upfield, getting pressure when he can't get there, getting his hands up, deflecting passes.
And that's a spot that is weakened in your mind, this Buffalo defense, at defensive tackle area, as they had the free agency losses of Pat Williams and losing Ron Edwards to the shoulder injury earlier this season. 2nd and goal. Here is Plummer. Incomplete. Smith couldn't get there for what would have been his 9th catch of the night. We'll have 3rd down coming up with 99 seconds till halftime.
Just can't seem to get it going. I'm trying to see. Ball comes out of nowhere. It's thrown. It's leading him a little bit more. He knows there's contact at the end of that. And Jake has to be able to see that it's his own defense, and he's got to protect his receiver, Mike.
I'm seeing receivers not being as crisp as possible. Maybe that slick field's affecting timing a little bit.
Definitely. It's a combination of the field.
Fans on their feet here at the south end of Ralph Wilson Stadium. As Plummer throws to the end zone for Alexander, out of bounds, incomplete. And we'll have a penalty flag down, back by Jake Plummer. Alexander sliding in that slick edge of the field. Is this roughing the quarterback?
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 29 defense. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Eric King, the 5th-round draft pick, rookie out of Wake Forest. Very few plays tonight. A bad play
penalty.
there.
Yes, it is, Mike. Yes, it is. We got an incomplete pass. Looked like the Broncos are going to have to kick a field goal. And just that little push right there, ball was gone. It's a 15-yard, well, half the distance penalty gives the Broncos a new set of downs to possibly get the running game going again.
Plenty of time for Denver. Minute 34. 2 timeouts and first and goal. What an awful penalty that is for the Bills. Plummer throwing for the end zone for Lilly. Incomplete. Good fight in the air with Terrence McGee. Lawyer Malloy trying to help just in case.
It's zone defense. I mean, it's one of those things that you have to have the ability to get out of. It wasn't a very good disguise. It's basically a cover 2, or if you're a West Coast offense team, it's cover 9 is what you call it. But safeties are deep, corners are bailing, looking back inside. It's one of those plays you really need to get out of because you really don't have a chance of completing that football.
Lilly has a half-foot size advantage. That's still there at the top of the screen. Play 12 of the drive. With Anderson, who's trying to be patient and find the opening. He'll get to the 3 with a minute and 20 left. We'll have 3rd and goal, and we'll see. Shanahan doesn't need to take a timeout, as we said. 2 left, and can just leave Buffalo with no time on the clock at the end of the half here. So Mike will just let the clock spin down.
Well, the Buffalo Bills are expecting run. They just went heavy on defense. They got all their big people in there, so they're expecting, definitely expecting a run.
Can take it all the way down here and then take the timeout. It'll serve the same purpose.
Yes.
And Jake Plummer will go over to Bernie Kukar and take the timeout with 51 seconds remaining before halftime. Chance to remind you that after these 51 seconds, Chris Berman standing by in the high-definition studio back at the world headquarters for the Toyota halftime report. The Patriots, how dominant did they look today, shutting out Chris Sims and the Bucks 28-0. Highlights of the Tiki Barber show at the Meadowlands and big day college basketball with some upsets. Chris will have all that. Toyota halftime report coming up. And don't forget, Chris and the guys with Sunday NFL Countdown tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Let's go down to the field and Susan.
Well, Mike, 2 teams playing for different reasons, but can you tell which team is the one trying for a playoff? For Jake Plummer earning that snake nickname, but it seemed as though he's only had 1 receiver. Rod Smith, always open, becomes the 3rd player ever with 9 seasons of 70 or more catches. Willis McGahee, coming off his worst outing of the season, has the only touchdown in the game, and Eric Mulls back in the lineup after a 1-game suspension has been a huge part of the game plan, but the Bills are up in this one.
And Susie, the worst red zone defense in the league this year in terms of touchdowns, trying to rise up again on 3rd and goal. Plummer throws, it's up in the air, and it is caught for a touchdown by Rod Smith. London Fletcher deflected it in the air, and as Susie told you, it has been Smith, the only one now. The side judge and back judge will have a conversation. They're not sure of this. And we'll see a replay and see what happens. Troy Vincent has come away with the ball.
That was great concentration by both Troy Vincent and Rod Smith.
Okay, the ruling on the field seems to stand as a, well, perhaps as a touchdown. Let's see.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
Thank you. So for the moment, it is 7-6, and I'm sure a quick look at the replay here for Buffalo. There's the deflection by London Fletcher. It goes high in the air. Smith grabs it, and it looks like both feet were down and not a knee down first. Out of bounds, and the touchdown was called. Buffalo does not look like it's going to challenge. And Jason Elam, who missed the 3rd extra point of his career last week when he thought Baltimore was going to challenge a ruling on a touchdown. able to knock it home there and square the game at 7.
Simultaneous catch. I guess a tie goes to the offense because Troy has it, Rod has it, got both feet in and 2 knees, so got to be a touchdown for the offense.
So interesting as you look at this.
I mean, you could argue control.
He has both points of the football. The football is not moving.
Right. I guess you could argue, I mean, it'd be a moot point now since they've already kicked the extra point, but you could have argued control. Did a great job. Troy Vincent did a great job going in there battling for that football, but Rod Smith once again finds himself in the middle of making a play for his offense.
And really, Denver had 6 chances on 1st and goal, and Buffalo did a terrific defensive job, almost able to knock that away and not get anything. It was one of those that the first look on the replay, it was close, and you're kind of surprised from a timeout standpoint that Mularkey just didn't challenge it, just for the sake of giving yourself a little bit of hope there.
Well, inside of 2 minutes, obviously
it goes upstairs.
It goes upstairs. So obviously they thought it wasn't worth challenging, but
looking at it again,
yeah, definitely, it could have warranted an extra look.
Todd Sauerbrunn will come out to kick off. Rod Smith has caught 9 of the 10 passes that Jake Plummer has completed here in the first half.
I would have never guessed it, Mike, if I'd have been at home and you would have called me and said that Rod Smith would have 9 catches in the first half. I would have never believed it. Never.
Sterling, he keeps catching and catching and catching. He's 75 now, or 77 on the season. Yeah, he always finds a way to get open.
Yes, he does. And like I said, you know, everything starts with Rod Smith. When they run the football, they try to run it at him. He's the crack guy. Like to bring him in short motion, to use him to wham on defensive ends and linebackers. But when they throw the football, he is the workhorse. He is the old school go-to guy because he can get deep, go across the middle. All the routes that you've seen him run tonight, that's what makes him special. 43 seconds, 2 timeouts left for Buffalo. A very good kick return group. It will be picked up on the bounce by Terrence McGee, looking for a slot to cut it up, and he takes it to the 33-yard line. See what the Bills will do with the last 35 seconds. We remind you that you can get yourself ready for Monday Night Football with Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Then at 9 Eastern, Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers take on a Baltimore Raven team that, as Broncos fans know, really can still give you fits defensively. Will be Monday night, 9 Eastern, with Al and John on ABC, home of Super Bowl 40. So let's see how Buffalo approaches it. 35 seconds and a couple of timeouts. Sean Williams, the back next to Holcomb, off his hands and nearly intercepted. It hit the ground before Al Wilson could squeeze it. That would have been disastrous for the Bills. It's a situation where you can let Kelly Holcomb throw the football. You just short-armed it, and then Al Wilson, with a lot of tape on his broken finger or hyperextended finger, couldn't come up with the catch. But that right there, ladies and gentlemen, would have just about done it for the Bills, I believe, tonight, as well as they have played. That speaks to what you were talking about earlier, a very fragile psyche for a team, expecting the next shoe to drop so often. 2nd and 10. This Holcomb throw is hauled in by the veteran Moles, yards shy of the first down. And with 20 seconds left, the Bills will keep going here, not using the timeout. Probably will only have 10 seconds left after this. Will sneak for the first down by Holcomb. Now they got to stop the clock if they are going to even bother here. And a flag probably going to come on Buffalo. Wow. I believe that was Valerio again. No, Mike. It can't be on the offense. They just completed a nice play on 2nd down, 3rd down, good call, quarterback sneak. They're going to set themselves back with another penalty. But staying true to their form all season, this is the one thing this football team talked to us on Thursday, and this is what they talked about. We take 2 steps forward and 5.5 steps back. I saw Valerio give that shove.
number 58 of the offense. The first down was made. Will mark off 15 yards. It will still be first down.
So, well, let's take another look at that. I think that may be his 4th or 5th flag.
Wow.
Here in this first half.
It's a quarterback sneak. Oh, okay, that's what it was. He got a great acting job. A great acting job, too, Mike.
Well, we know a lot of former football players take a career in wrestling afterwards. Ebenezer Ekibon has shown the ability to act out the moment there. You know, Ekibon, as the Bills have now taken that timeout, they're backed up after the flag, now near the 30-yard line with just 9 seconds left. Ekibon, one of the 4 defensive linemen for Denver from the Cleveland Browns, coming in 3 different sets of acquisitions, 2 trades and 1 free agency signing. Ekibon and Michael Myers came over in the trade for Reuben Drones.
But Ekibon was the only guy that Mike Shanahan wanted. And then everything else with the trade to Reuben Drones and the money of Courtney Brown staying in Cleveland or being able to move on, all of that transpired. But Mike Shanahan had eyed Ebenezer Ekibon for a very long time.
Going back to his Dallas days.
Yes.
With Dallas, Cleveland now to the Broncos. Courtney Brown and Gerard Warren were high draft picks. And this group from Cleveland, the Cleveland Broncos, as it's jokingly referred to, has done a nice job. The running stats have been effective, but in part, those are skewed by a Denver team that has taken early leads this season a lot.
Yes.
And the teams trying to catch up have been in pass mostly mode. Sean Williams will run it. I'm sure the fans enjoy this run by Williams, staying on his feet across midfield down at the 42. And they've enjoyed the extra 10 minutes here in the cold weather as we get to half, with Jason Peters, the right tackle for the Bills, slow to get up, but getting up under his own power as we get to the end of the half. Here's Susie with Mike Shanahan.
Mike, what's the most unexpected thing the Bills threw at your offense?
Well, they're putting a little pressure on us. They dared us to throw the ball. We haven't been very consistent. Then they backed off a little bit there in that second quarter. So we just got to keep our poise and kind of go back to basics.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Susie, thank you. Ralph Wilson Stadium in Buffalo. Our halftime score: Buffalo 7, Denver 7. Chris, the Broncos get the ball first in the 3rd quarter. Here's Chris with the Toyota halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So 7-7 at very chilly Buffalo. And so that game, Denver's struggling, as they did last week. And they lost the week before. And the Chiefs and Chargers interested, but Kansas City had their hands full, because after a tough loss last week, they were into the Meadowlands. And if you don't think something special is going on with the Giants, both owners, Mr. Mara, Mr. Tisch, passing away, Tiki Barber having a season for the ages, this Giant team in first place in the NFC East, well, and they're also playing their 9th home game. Let's go somewhere in the swamps of Jersey with 2 teams hopeful for the playoffs. Dick Vermeil and Ski Cap, the Chiefs watching. They know they got Larry Johnson who can run it, but Tiki Barber, look at him in the second quarter as he evades chief after chief after chief after chief, and it's a 41-yard run. It's 7-3 the Giants. And then the Chiefs sit down 10-3 Larry Johnson. He had his 7th straight 100-yard game. Grandmama in there to tie the game at 10. Now we move to the 3rd with Tiki Barber and the Giants inside their own 10, but not for long. Going through about 5 Chiefs and whap! Right up the sideline. Tiki, 55 yards, setting up a field goal, 13-10. G-Men. Early in the 4th, Eli Manning. Little play action to well-dressed Amani Toomer. Knee is knocked down. Touchdown. Chief challenged the play, but the knee was not down. Take another look. Maxwell Smart would say missed it by that much. The touchdown stands 20-10. 8.5 minutes to go. Larry Johnson. He'll get in there to pull the Chiefs to within 3, 20-17. But in a game in which Tiki Barber would run for 220 yards, erasing a Giant single-game record back from 1950. Tiki with already a season best for the Giants, 1577. The Giants win it 27-17, and Tom Coughlin and the New York Football Giants are 10-4. Yes, their last 2 games are on the road, but the season, which seemingly has come out of nowhere, is certainly impressive for the G-Men.
It's a great reflection on our team to be able to rush the ball at this time of the year in the NFC East, to win a football game based on that, to kick the ball well, and to somehow, you know, control the #1 offense in the league. That's I'm very, very proud and happy for our team.
This one's past us, and we have to focus on the Skins because it's a division game. Obviously, we're in a good driver's seat position, but that doesn't mean that we have to we can relax or we can get complacent.
So the Giants now with a game-and-a-half lead over the Cowboys, who tomorrow have a game at Washington. Washington's still alive because they host Dallas and they host the Giants. But if Washington beats Dallas tomorrow, the G-Men could be 2 up. With 2 to go, they finish at the Skins and at Oakland on an ESPN Saturday night game. You've been seeing this tonight with Mike and Sterling. The Broncos just say, hey, that's great that the Chiefs lost. San Diego's at the Colts tomorrow. So even if Denver doesn't come out on top tonight, assuming the Chargers would have trouble at Indy, Denver still likes their position. Kansas City now at 8-6. They and San Diego play next week. Someone's got to lose that one.
This halftime show is presented by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward.
Winter night here in Orchard Park, New York, getting set for the third quarter. Bills scored on their opening drive. Denver scoring on its final drive of the half. All tied at 7 with Susie Culver and Sterling Sharp. Mike Tirico, a very odd 30 minutes because after that first drive, really not much happened, but the Broncos, given a couple of chances by the Bills, have put themselves in position to win this game and get into the playoffs if they can win the second half.
I expect Mike Shanahan to come out and run the football. I'm looking at a Denver Broncos football team that needs to get some momentum, get their running game confidence back, so I expect him to do that in the second half.
It was just 11 runs for both teams in that first half. Very bizarre on this night where it has been so tough, but Rod Smith, certainly something they saw in the game plan as a possibility to succeed, catching 9 of the Jake Plummer 10 completions in that first half.
I would have never guessed that they would come out and throw the football as well to Rod Smith as they have, and he has had a fantabulous night. I told you in the opening that he is an outstanding receiver.
Ryan Lindell kicks it off to start the third quarter. Short kickoff that the Broncos will take out to the 25-yard line. Very impressed as Trevor Price, who's wired for sound, been tonight with the wide receiver on his team.
Ain't nobody in the NFL cover the old man. Nobody. Old man gave him the stutter go. The old man! The old man!
Trevor having fun. That's the nickname they use, the old man, for the man thus far, Rod Smith. There you see Trevor Price's stats, 4-time Pro Bowler. We had offsides on the kickoff on the Bills. Denver's going to take the short kickoff at the 25-yard line. And advance at 5. That was the new rule that was added this year. I was wondering why they would decline it because it's a 5-yard automatic walk-off.
From where, spotted the reception after where he was tackled.
Has not been the best night for the officiating crew thus far. And it's been a busy night for them. 15 penalties if you add the one that was just incurred by the Bills. Jake Plummer of the Broncos offense back to it. They will start with the end around with Ashley Lilly across the 40 and to the 44-yard line. So Lilly, who has been very quiet tonight, comes out of the gates and gets a Broncos 13-yard first down. Nate Clemens escorts him out of bounds.
Did a good job, though. It was a run. That's all we've been looking for from the Denver Broncos is a run. And they're starting out. I think they're trying to keep the ends from crashing so much, so they're going to use the reverse to create some running lanes for the running backs.
Jake Plummer, 29 and 11 in his 40 starts for the Broncos. Throws incomplete, intended for Smith. Terrence McGee there on coverage. We mentioned earlier McGee, the corner, is a player who made it to the Pro Bowl last year because of his kick returning duties, but within that Pro Bowl over in Hawaii, was able to cover some of the top receivers, always use an extra defensive back at the Pro Bowl.
Sure.
And he has really inspired himself, if not this year, it won't happen, but down the line to become a returner to the Pro Bowl, not as a returner, but as a corner.
Exactly, and I think that's important too, Mike, for confidence.
Again, the Broncos go empty as Tatum Bell is at the top of your screen, and Plummer comes right back to Putsier, or rather Stephen Alexander, the tight end, at midfield. And give him about 6 yards. Give me your assessment of Jake Plummer in the first half.
I thought the 2 balls he threw over the top, 1-2 Jeb Putsier and 1-2 on the stutter go or the circle go to Rod Smith, were the 2 of the best throws I've ever seen as a football player or an analyst. I mean, he did a great job of getting the ball out of his hands. I just think that he's dropping back to throw it way too much to be effective.
3rd and 3 for the Broncos. Same exact look as the last play, crossing underneath the tight ends and able to get it this time to Putsier. And with his forward progress marked, it'll be a first down at the Buffalo 44. There's something of that formation that Denver likes. They have shown it multiple times here tonight.
Yes, they have. And Jake Plummer does a great job of setting the launch point for his left tackle. Watch him set the launch point, step up, got himself a completion right here, throws a nice ball. The tight end's able to cradle it, protect it, catch it, and get ourselves a first down.
Putsier has been very good of late. 21 receptions in the last 8 games coming into tonight. He's added a few here. And Anderson has not had much going tonight. 8 carries for about 31 yards. You know, it's a story that has been told so often. Mike Anderson's very circuitous route to the National Football League, a couple of college stops, and then his time as a Marine, his 4 years, and then finally getting the opportunity after his days at Utah to come to the NFL. Gets the 1,000-yard season, has had to wait behind so many people for a variety of reasons. Always seems like they are presenting the job to someone else. Yet Mike Anderson defines himself as indispensable in this Denver offense.
Guy that can play both fullback, tailback, guy that can run it and catch it, although Jake misses him right here.
And we'll have 3rd and 10 coming up. Go back to that Anderson rookie season, 1,487 yards, setting the Bronco rookie record. And then with Terrell Davis and Clinton Portis, he was moved to fullback, had a groin injury plus a suspension, so he missed all of the 2004 season. Then in 2005, able to come back. He shares the role with Tatum Bell, and he's closing in on 1,000 yards, although it's been a slow crawl the last couple of games.
Yes, it has. Very slow crawl.
He's out. Tatum Bell in for 3rd down. Plummer throwing the deep ball. Lallee locates it and brings it in at the 5. Ashley Lallee created the contact with McGee. Nobody can get footing to turn around. A beautiful 40-yard reception by Ashley Lallee.
Mike, I do a great job of coaching in the offseason, and watch him use his speed, but watch where this ball is thrown. You feel and you fall. It is a beautiful throw and an outstanding catch, because there's nothing the defensive back can do when you catch it over your outside shoulder. So for all the young receivers out there that I've been trying to teach, that was a textbook catch of the fade route.
And that is Ashley Lallee, the deep guy. Career average of 18 a catch. His first catch of the night was 40. Puts Denver on the doorstep of the lead. And here is Anderson hitting it hard. He brought down at the 1. The fired up veteran Lawyer Malloy in there to make the stop before the goal line.
Denver's always been looking for that explosion play. Tatum Bell was able to give it to him out of the running game. You know, Ashley Lallee, what you just mentioned, the vertical deep passing game. They need that explosion type play to flip the football field, give them their offense an opportunity for easy points. And right here, 2nd and goal, they have an opportunity to get an easy touchdown, go up 7 on the Bills team. That psyche has got to be starting to crumble.
Interesting. They were trying to play the game to see who Buffalo had in from a substitution standpoint, and the clock started to run down on them, so Jake Plummer is forced to take a timeout. The deep ball to the 4th-year man out of Hawaii, Ashley Lallee, to put the Broncos in position to take the lead.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson spent more time on the mental aspects of his players than any other coach in the NBA.
When the Bulls went on the West Coast trips for 2 weeks, that he'd give each player a book, which he thought related to them would not only help them with their basketball, but would help them with their life.
He has a very good understanding of how to bond a group together and bring its mind and everything together as one.
He keeps his team up physically, number one, but also mentally. When you played against the Bulls, it was like Game 7 against everybody.
You try to do the right things in basketball, and good things are going to happen as an end result. And that's the way life is. That, you know, if you do the right things, your life is going to reflect that.
Out of the Denver call timeout, Broncos have 2nd and goal from the 2, trying to break a 7-7 tie. Denver has Wesley Duke in the game as a second tight end. He is very much like Antonio Gates, guy who went to Mercer, only played basketball in college, not football, has come into the NFL and is coached by the same guy, Tim Brewster, who was Gates' tight end coach in San Diego. 2nd and goal, and here is Plummer looking to the back of the end zone and incomplete. Good job by Buffalo covering the tight ends, knowing what Denver loves to do with their play-action game here.
That's in the playbook right there, Mike. That's understanding situation, putting people in a great situation. They're going wide personnel, all tight ends, 2 backs, wide coming in. So it's either going to be drag slide or it's just going to be a power run right down the Buffalo Bills' throat.
You say wide personnel, that brings 3 tight ends into the game and sends West